Hi Ron, I'm Chris, and this is the JOMISE 1600p dash cam that was sent out to me. So this particular model here has a touch screen on the rear, nice small compact size, and as the name suggests, records in 1600p. That's at 30 frames per second. You can drop the resolution down to full HD to get 60 frames per second. It's got a couple of built-in smart features, so it can see the traffic light change and let you know, advise you, and if the car ahead of you is moving. It's got a parking mode, built-in GPS. There's an application which I'll run through and show you, and of course some daytime samples, nighttime samples.
Inside the box you will find here a user manual. So this is just a basic quick guide about setting it up, the installation, and even just instructions on how to use it, where everything is. Very straightforward. And you'll see that we have the dash cam right there, so it does have some plastic over the screen to protect it from scratches in transit. And I will take a detailed look at that very shortly. There you can see it. And here we do have our car charger. Now, this car charger is quite a basic one, so it's not a quick charge supporting one for your phones or anything like that. You may possibly have a better charger in your car. So this one is 1 amp or the 2.1 amps, so it's got 2 USB ports on it. And right under here, you'll find our very long micro USB to USB cable here. So why is it so long? Of course, this is for the routing of the cable if you were to put it around your windscreen and set it up properly and have it right in the middle, just under where your rear view mirror is. So the build quality of this dash cam, it is reasonably good. The plastics, it doesn't feel cheap. It's quite solid, the base here, where it does actually count, and it feels like it's even got metal right in here. So moving this, it is very stiff. So this is not going to be rattling around, shaking, and it shouldn't give you shaky footage as well. Up here at the top, we have our sticky side. So this needs to be pulled off, of course, when you mount it to your inside of your windscreen. And they do recommend that, of course, you clean the windscreen first to maintain and get that absolute best suction on here, so it's not ever going to drop off, especially if your car's sitting out on the sun or something like that. That's the last thing you want. So just under here, it's a little bit difficult to see right there, we have our micro SD card slot. So that's where we put our storage in. Of course, we're going to need to do that. There's no built-in storage on this. And on the sides here, just a little bit of a decal there, some painted on little marks. Down the bottom here, we have the serial number, and we do have a reset button and our microphone. So yes, it does have built-in audio. Our little touch screen here on the back, which is color. I'll show you more of this later on. And up here at the front, that is the lens there. So it's an f1.6 lens, and you can see the maximum resolution. That's at 30 frames per second. So the menu system, very simple, and it doesn't really have too much lag to it. So that's to connect to the application. There you scan that QR code. It's currently recording right now. So you can see the speaker's enabled, microphone is enabled, the location, so that's GPS, and wireless as well is currently on. So if you swipe down from the top, you get quick toggles for all 4 of those to turn them on and off. Swiping from the bottom here gets us into the setting menus, and it's very straightforward and easy to use. So getting out of this, back again, you swipe here, and you can also see and play back your footage. So you've got also, that's the looped video. You have the incident view. So as soon as it detects like a jolt, if I just give it a whack now, it makes like a beep noise if it's recording in the recording mode, and it will save that. And you've got also this right here, installation guide, just to tell you where the horizon is, so you can line the camera up correctly. And now the application. So you download this from Google Play Store or your App Store. It is called Hi Dashcam. You connect up to the Dashcam, and then you can set a password for the wireless connection when it's connected up. So first off, I will show you the settings. So there's a lot of settings in here that you don't actually have on the Dashcam itself. You can set the resolution, the frame rate. I'll show you those options we do have with this. So there are various different options. I like to have it on the 1600p for the maximum resolution. 30 frames per second I think is enough for me. But if you want the more smooth and fluid 60 frames per second, it's only unfortunately at 1080p with this particular model. Would have been nice if we did have 1600p and the 60 frames per second, but we don't. Wide dynamic range, I do recommend enabling this just so you can get a little bit more details and things in there. You can also set options like, for example, when it boots up, if you don't want that little chime to go off every time you connect it up when you start your car, just disable it. Display the speed options, various different other options in here, like parking monitor if you want that. Now that does not have a battery built into this, okay, so you need constant power to it. It may have to be hardwired depending on your car's connection there, your power point there for the cigarette lighter. For my car, it's only when I have accessories on, when I start the car and it powers up, turns itself on all the time, which is what I actually prefer there. And you do have other options there to set, for example, the units, metrics, so your miles per hour, kilometers per hour. You get the idea. There are a few options in there that you can tweak, which is handy to have. But let's get onto that footage now. So under playback, you can take a look at everything. It's a nice, neat timeline here, so you can have a look and say, okay, that trip that we went on that was about 4 o'clock, you can see. And if someone pulled out in front of you, you wanted to get their number plate details or whatever, you can find it, download the footage then as well. So right here is the download option. Now, this is, of course, wirelessly done. Download speed's about 4 megabytes per second with this particular phone I have. So if you want 3 minutes of footage and you know exactly where it is, you find it here with the preview. Simply hit download and you'll get that footage on your phone. So you don't have to take out the micro SD card, put it in a computer. You can easily get the footage on your phone straight away. And that's handy if you have a small accident or whatever and you need that footage.
So the installation is straightforward. You just need to tear off the top plastic, of course, and then place it where you think is best for you. Now, because my car has this camera module here that's always looking forward at the road to see if we veer off the road to wake us up, I'm going to have to put it to either side of that. And it looks like it's in the way. Now, I can't actually see the screen when I'm driving because my rear view mirror is going to be in the way here, but that's not a problem for me. So I'm probably going to mount it either here on this side, that's on the driver's side, but it's probably better out of the way here, up here on the passenger side there, just for me. But it's down to personal preference where you want to put it, as long as, of course, you're going to get a very good, clear view of the road ahead. And as for our cable management here, I'm going to route it just up here in the trim. I've got a bit of a gap here, so that's great. It gets it out of the way, going to cause no damage whatsoever to this. So just push the cable all up around here. I'm going to route it down the side of the pillar and then to where the cigarette lighter is.
And as I mentioned at the beginning, there is an AI mode that does detect when the traffic lights turn green or if the car in front of you moves. Here is a sample of it in action.
Traffic light turns green.
And what you're listening to is a sample of the built-in microphone too as well. So yes, it does do an okay job. You can hear conversations if that's needed. Of course, if someone crashes into you and you want to quickly just spit out all the details that the guy pulled out of a stop sign, he didn't stop, hit you, whatever, at least the mic is there for that, which is great. And now at a low light sample, so this area where I'm shooting at is the port of Denia, Mediterranean coast of Spain, where I do actually shoot a lot of my low light footage for the mobile phones I review and the camera comparisons. Okay, so the build quality of this dash cam is very good. Now, it doesn't shake or wobble around. It's very solid. The base, you can move it and adjust it, and the setup is so easy. They help you with the horizon guide as well, just to get it all nice and level, to make sure you're getting the maximum in the shot. Now, what about that video quality I showed you? I think the daytime footage, definitely, it's clear, it's bright, it's sharp, you can see lots of details. And of course, if you're not happy with the 30 frames per second, you can sacrifice on the sharpness, drop it down to full HD. Now, it's a shame it doesn't do 60 frames per second at 1600p. That would be good. And the market, of course, is flooded with a lot of 4K that actually aren't 4K dash cams. Now, most of them will be 1440p. They upscale to 4K, so it's not really that much sharper. At least the sharpness with this footage is good. Nighttime footage isn't like amazing, but it's still decent enough that you can see what is going on. You can see the cars in front of you, someone pulls out in front of you, and capture all the information you need. Now, the application is straightforward and easy to use. However, when I first went to set it up, you have to scan the QR code, and that QR code led me to nowhere. It led me to an app on the Google Play Store that doesn't exist anymore, but it's called the Hi Dashcam software, and it's very easy to download it and set it up. It's pretty basic and simple there. Now, the microphone quality is average, but it's good that we've got the mic on there. It's got the loudspeaker built into it as well, which is handy. And it's basically just set it up, forget about it, and route your cable all nice so you don't see it all, and away you go. And if something does happen, you know you've got the footage in here because, well, you know, it's a dangerous world out there. Lots can happen on the road, and it's good to have one of these, I think, nowadays, especially for like insurance purposes, to try and give this as evidence too. If someone pulls out in front of you, you can just show them, hey, look, this guy pulled out in front of me. You've got it all captured on a dash cam like this one. Now, the suction cup on the back here, it's super solid, like very, very hard to get off. So make sure you just don't actually remove this first. Test out a couple of positions, I recommend, before removing it. So really it boils down to, I think the footage is good. The application is, it's average, but it gives us pretty much everything we want there. It is a little bit expensive, I feel, though, for what they're charging, considering the spec of it. All up, it's a decent cam, and it's just really that for me. The low light footage could be a little bit better in quality, and it's a shame that we don't have 1600p 60 frames per second. I think would have been really good with this one here. So thank you so much for watching this review, and I hope to see you back again with more up and coming videos.